Past life for Carey. I'm getting small king energy, small king energy. What is this about? Exiled in the fall. Small king energy. You were one of the, oh gosh, this sounds harsh. This sounds like you were one of the fools, one of the jesters. That's not meant harshly, but it sounds like there was a small king that you were close to. And I don't know how popular, big, or well-known this king is, but small king, and I don't know that he's even short in stature. I'm getting that he's like a kind of an asshole. And you were the fool or the jester. You were allowed around for quite some time. You were pretty impudent.
That doesn't surprise me.
Impudent. You were pretty impudent. You're pretty like, well, oh yeah, fuck you both. Oh, okay. So whether it's King John, Don, King Long John, Ron Wrong, I don't know. King Fuckity Fuck is what I'm getting. And you were telling him, hey, you're being a moron. We've got the journey and the healing. This king goes off for a while now. He's traveling, and I think he's traveling on other people's dime, and you're telling him, hey, this isn't so good. He doesn't care. You're following behind, trying to clean up his messes, trying to nourish things that are his messes, trying to create healing with the people whose lands that he comes through, and you probably have actually helped save his life a couple of times just because you're politically more correct than he is. He's a buffoon. Seven of Swords. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This king does not have the social emotional intelligence to know what he's doing. This king was really a bad king. There came a time when everything, you could do no more for this person and you left. Now, this is interesting because you follow him, you follow him, you follow him. You're trying to, help cover his ass, but here you clearly leave. You're clearly like, okay, he's going to burn it down. I need to go. Or he's getting like his, he's getting weird. The king is getting weird and he's like not paying attention and he doesn't understand anymore who's been loyal to him, who hasn't. And I think you leave because if you stay very much longer, who knows if he's going to be like, off with your head. I'm getting like, the Alice in Wonderland Red Queen. She doesn't make much sense. She's just kind of large and in charge and being a kind of a shitty person. Yeah.
It sounds like Game of Thrones.
It sort of is. Ten of Wands. Here's you after you go on your walk. You left the rough times behind. You go towards something that's much more peaceful. You actually head towards love, which you haven't done before in the past. You had station, you had obligation, but for whatever reason, your obligation to this person ended. I think because it was a matter of your own survival. Yeah. Here you are going off exploring on your own again. You're going across, it's almost like there's a big river that divides two countries, and you're going across to this other country. This person has traveled with you. You've traveled there before. Then he's returned home. He returns home pretty much to burn down the kingdom, so to speak, because this is just how he would do it, and you're done. So you're crossing the river going somewhere a little bit safer. And it does feel like a river, not an ocean. It could be that you're going somewhere towards Italy, and I'm not sure why, but I'm getting shades of Italy here, and I'm not sure what's going on with that. There's a whole system that's about to come down and explode. There's going to be a lot of arguing and fighting. You want none of it. You want to be like at the vineyard or own the place where you can just have peace and good friends nearby. What's going on with this? I'll move all of this. This feels like a two-stage thing. This is where you're going. This is what's happening in what you've left behind. All this conflict, chaos, all of this. You had to go, you had to go. You're going. This is you in your own space trying to have something a little bit different, a little bit more. Okay. So part 1, part 2. Yeah, you left. You'd been there since you were a young boy over there, but now you're coming here. Oh, you were a boy. You've been there since you were a young boy over there. Working, 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 but now you go, now you go. You do go towards something that's a little bit older. You do go towards something where you've traveled and traveled, but you're ready for something different. You've seen how sometimes wars and fights about kingdoms and who's in charge of what. You've seen how it's affected people, and you want things that are more settled down. You want things that are more fair. This is what you're going into, what you're going towards. You want what feels more balanced and more just in the land, throughout the land. This isn't you, but this feels you. This feels like you and your person. So I think you do live a long time, but you've seen enough that you were just shy of here, just shy of there, and you got out of there quick enough. Where's the Dreaming Way Tarot? There we go. That's the one I want. Let's see what happens here. This feels pretty Anglo. Euro Anglo is what it feels. 5 of Swords. Somebody's asking for you to return, to go to the king, to return to him, and you don't want to. They're asking for you to travel to serve one more time, and you're like, no. This happens for a long time. Like they're asking, and it's asking, and it's asking. I think it's because you were the jester. You were the one that could go and wisecrack or joke with the king, and he would listen. And I think the king is not doing well, and they're asking for you to come back. And you're like, no, 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 no. If you do this, it's going to create huge conflict in the life that you're building now. It will definitely upset you. It's going to upset your family. It's going to upset your home life. It's just for another battle. It's just for another battle. You're like, no, they've been asking for this for like 6-8 months. You say you'll meet halfway. You'll negotiate halfway. He's going to have to come halfway towards you if he can, or otherwise you're not going. You won't go there because I think you realize that you'll get entrenched and enmeshed, and it'll be a bad thing. You ask for him to come more your direction. You ask for him to be undercover, so to speak. So he wouldn't ride in as a recognizable person. No, he would have to come in looking differently. As soon as he knows that you would be receptive to talking with him or speaking with him again, there must have been some kind of fractious, fallacious thing where you might have felt like, yeah, if he's going to burn the kingdom down, you got to get out of there before you're in jeopardy. But now he wants to talk with you. You're like, okay. But he's coming in disguise, like with a lady's entourage. So I think he's presenting as a queen. So what he's doing is coming in with all the troops, everybody that would be the queen's people and not the king's men. This is what's happening. He's coming in disguise to talk with you. About what? I think it's about a rebirth in the kingdom. Now, that's the sun. That's not rebirth. That's not death. But it feels like they're toasting something, the passing of something, and a rebirth in the kingdom. I think he knows his time's limited. You're like, yeah, well, your time has been limited. You've made your choices. Let me think on this for a bit. It's like he can hand the responsibility over, or he can cling to it, and he's not sure if he wants to give up clinging to power. You're like, well, you could do differently. He's going to choose to cling, and you know it's going to be a price for him. You've told him, you said to him something like, you can visit so-and-so, and she'll let you know how to get through this. But this leader, this man, he's had too much burden on his back, too much, and now he's going forward, but he's not going to last for very much longer. You do the best you can to tell him, hey, take it easy, but he doesn't listen. He goes back and kind of does his own thing anyway. The kingdom passes. This is like you going over for the funeral. You're going over and brokering peace with some of the counselors of him. They know you as the jester, but they also know you as the one that the king sought out and went to. You let them know this is going to be how division of property is. I don't know if you're settling. This is where there would be certain marriages. This is where there would be certain properties. You're trying to help prevent everything from exploding and going into total chaos. This is something you choose to do. You don't want to do, but you choose to do for a period of time. You stayed with them for like a year and a half. Year and a half.
That's me. Peacemaker, sorry.
Yes, yes. You're getting something in here where you're worried and concerned about your space in Italy, your space, your place, your family in Italy. And you go back. You can do no more for that era of time or that era of history. You go back. You do go back in time, but there's been hardship. Like you've been gone for a year and a half and it's been very difficult on the family. There's some fractures that are now within your own family, but they're not kingdom-wide, but there's fractures within your own family. There's been people jockeying for a power and position. There's been an arguing with your own children about what's going to be going on and who's in charge of what there. And you come back and they're like, almost like, well, you bailed on us. What are you doing here? You're not having any bullshit. You're coming back as the Page of Wands, and you're going to be seen all around where your land is, where your holding is, where your quiet life is. You're still going to be seen around there. You set it up so it will work a little bit differently. Feels like your daughter is particularly resentful of your son and that there's some kind of bitterness there. Yeah. They both would be really skilled in handling what was going on if you had to go again, but you don't want to have to go again. What do you do with these two?
I have a daughter and a son now.
I think you send them two different directions. You send one more like Aggie is what I'm getting, more like agricultural lands. And then you send one over towards the old kingdom where you were. You would have enough context for the other to have a separate life there and do well. So they each can kind of come into their own after arguing and have a place and station, have opportunities for growth. And then you wait. You see what happens. You know what's going to happen. It's like, okay, there will be turbulence, and then they'll return, and they'll be the wiser for it. I think you have them be jointly in charge, regardless. Yes. You have them be jointly in charge, and they figure it out. They figure out, yeah, we can go our own adventures, have our own, enough of our own that we don't have to fight over what's here on the table. They've had enough experience that they've accrued over time. Yeah, 3 for you, 3 for you. Heartache needs to be done. The magic is when there's cooperation and working together and there's balance and your ability to broker peace. These two needed to be separated. They were locking horns all the time. Your ability to broker peace actually works for your kids, but it takes a little bit of time to do so, but it works. There's a little bit of fear as you get closer towards the end of your life. And you just want things to be chill. It's like you just want to retire in the little house rather than the bigger house. You want the little house. It's like you would have had enough space to have a grandmother's cottage, and you and your person decide you want the grandmother's cottage, and the quiet let the kids deal with the nonsense. That's where it stops.
It is where I am in life now, except kids get along well, both young adults.
Good. Good, good, good.
I do want chill and simplicity.
Yeah. This is how it went for you before. Brokering peace is a great skill to have, but that doesn't mean it's not exhausting or that you always want to be the one brokering peace. It's like, okay, enough already. If you're going to be bringing drama to the door, fuck you after a while, right? And this is how it's feeling like here. You had your plenty of times where you were very much in the service of your fellow man, but to have peace and simplicity now and to have it towards the end of your life then, it's like you paid your dues, honey. That's what I got.
Brokering peace, I am a Libra.
Okay. Well, Libras always see it from different sides. They can see many sides of the situation. They really can. And they like to have things balanced and they like to have things fair, and sometimes it works out that way. Other times people are like, eh, and they're like, you always take the other side. Or, yeah. That's what I got. So at the end of it, you're just at that cottage, and that's where you like to be. That's a peaceful cottage. It doesn't feel like there's anything significant that happens after that in that particular lifetime.
All right. She said, thank you, Angie. Spot on.
Yeah.